Good afternoon, generational wealth family. We had a poll on X, and it looks like you wanted a deep dive into ZBCN and Zebec Networks. Here you go. You've heard the promise? Crypto that actually pays people in real time across borders on compliant rails. Today, we're going deep on Zebec Network and its token ZBCN. What it is, who's building it, the partnerships behind it, and what all of this could mean for investors. This is not financial or investment advice. Do your own research, manage risk, and never invest money you can't afford to lose. What Zebec Network and ZBCN are. Zebec Network is a decentralized infrastructure protocol focused on real-time, continuous payments. Think payroll and streaming money that actually settles on-chain. It launched in 2021 and has since expanded from Solana into a multi-chain footprint, including networks like Base, Ethereum, BNB Chain, and others, positioning itself as a bridge between Web 2 finance and Web 3 rails. ZBCN is Zebec's native token. After a 1-to-10 split from the prior ZBC ticker, ZBCN became the primary token across the ecosystem. It's used for fees, governance, staking incentives, and funding ecosystem growth, with a total supply framework aimed at long-term scalability and utility. Zebec's vision is simple and bold: move real-world value as freely as data moves on the internet. The company frames its mission around instant access to funds for individuals, businesses, and teams, reducing middlemen and delivering more inclusive, programmable finance, leadership, and advisors. Zebec was founded by Sam Thapalia. The leadership team includes Simon Babakani, COO, Elena Solovyov, CMO, and Kian, CTO, among others focused on product, M&A, and ecosystem growth. This mix blends Web 2 operating experience with Web 3 product velocity, critical for a compliance-minded payments protocol. Zebec's advisor bench features names with deep fintech and crypto experience. Joe McCann, Asymmetric Capital, Lisa Robbins, former CFO, ADP, George Stuckert, former president, ADP, Tony Chaviles, CEO, Paybridge, and Tom Lutz, SVP, Synergy Partners. The presence of ADP veterans and an active fund manager signals a focus on payroll rigor, compliance, and capital market savvy. Why this matters? To crack payroll, you need both crypto-native speed and legacy payroll discipline. Combining a founder-led product culture with advisors from ADP and active investors is a signal they understand the stakes in regulated payments: products, traction, and real-world footprint. On the consumer side, Zebec Cards, prepaid multi-chain crypto cards, let users spend crypto wherever Visa, Mastercard are accepted. The company reports thousands of clients within 100 days post-launch and a trajectory toward millions of purchases, positioning cards as a key on-ramp from Web 3 balances to everyday spending. For payroll, Zebec enables continuous salary streaming and USDC-based pay through apps like WageLink, and integrates with traditional payroll via its investment arm, Payroll Growth Partners, PGP. PGP's acquisitions, like Paybridge and School Payroll Services, tie Zebec's blockchain rails into established U.S. payroll workflows and processing scale. Zebec also runs pilots like Amida, handling $500 million in U.S.-Mexico cross-border flows, and is testing multi-sig escrow for international transport. Early, but notable signals that they're pushing beyond crypto-native use cases into real commerce and remittance corridors. By the numbers, third-party coverage cites 50,000 monthly users and over $1 billion in processed payroll volume across hundreds of companies. Additional reporting highlights traction with 250-plus enterprise clients leveraging real-time payroll services, evidence of growing institutional usage for on-chain pay. Partnerships and acquisitions. Zebec joined Circle's Alliance program, effectively standardizing USDC as the stablecoin backbone across its products, from payroll to cards. This tight alignment with Circle strengthens compliance posture and speeds cross-border settlement, critical for enterprise adoption. On cards, Zebec partners with Mastercard to enable global spending via its Silver, Carbon, Black offerings, with recent integrations adding tokens like Algo and Octane to be spendable at Mastercard merchant networks, expanding real-world utility beyond just crypto-native assets. On the infra side, Zebec has integrated or partnered with Chainlink and Ondo Finance, e.g., USDY, and has showcased ZPIN, a DPIN point-of-sale concept, to anchor retail crypto payments with hardware plus software rails, a move to make Web3 payments tangible in-store. Strategically, Zebec has acquired Science Card, crypto payments for education, and GateKnox, embedded KYC, KYB AML, bolstering both sector reach and compliance infrastructure, especially relevant as it pursues EU MiCA and UK FCA registrations. Earlier acquisitions like PayBridge integrated traditional payroll scale directly into the stack. For investors, these partnerships and acquisitions do two things. They broaden utility, more ways to use and spend value, and deepen compliance, making institutions more comfortable adopting the rails. That combination tends to be a prerequisite for durable, non-speculative demand, token utility, tokenomics, and market context. Functionally, ZBCN powers fees across Zebec's services, governance proposals, staking rewards, and growth incentives for integrations and developers. In other words, it's not just a payment token, it's the coordination asset for decisions, participation, and platform economics. Zebec has highlighted deflationary mechanics such as buybacks and burns linked to product revenue, including a $50 million ZBCN buyback funded by the card program. While modest in absolute terms, these actions signal a tilt toward value alignment between product usage and token supply dynamics. On market action, coverage through mid-2025 showed outsized volatility around catalysts, like exchange accumulation rumors, and new integrations, e.g., Algorand, Octaspace, with liquidity and interest expanding as Zebec's multi-chain footprint and partnerships grew. As always, short-term price swings cut both ways. Fundamentals are the long game. What Zebec is trying to accomplish. Zebec aims to make money programmable and continuous. Payroll by the second, borderless USDC compensation, and instant spending through cards and point of sale, stitched together under a compliance-aware, multi-chain architecture. It's the Web3 take on a global payments network, with payroll as the wedge and consumer spend as the flywheel. At the company level, the strategy blends three pillars: build consumer and enterprise apps, cards, payroll, WageLink, embed compliance, GateKnox stack, Circle partnership, and integrate traditional payroll providers to accelerate adoption. This Web 2 plus Web 3 hybrid approach is meant to remove switching friction for businesses and workers. If they execute, the outcome is a Rails company, stablecoin settlement as the default for payroll and cross-border payments, with ZBCN governing and incentivizing the network that delivers it. That's a category with massive total addressable market and entrenched incumbents, so the bar is high, but the prize is real. What this could mean for ZBCN holders: utility and demand drivers, more payroll streams, more card spend, and more cross-border flows can incrementally increase ZBCN usage for fees, staking, and governance, especially if buyback burn policies persist alongside product revenue growth. Compliance and institutional readiness. Integrations with Circle USDC and embedded KYC, KYB AML, GateKnox, strengthen Zebec's shot at enterprise and regulated market adoption, a key factor for durable network effects and non-speculative demand. Network effects via acquisitions. PGP acquisitions, PayBridge SPS, and vertical plays like Science Card seed real customer funnels that can onboard to Zebec rails, improving throughput and potentially token utility over time. Macro exposure. Zebec sits at the intersection of real-time payroll, DPIN payments, and stablecoin settlement, narratives that have attracted capital and attention across cycles. Tailwinds help, but execution and regulation will still dictate outcomes. Risks and due diligence. Regulatory risk. Payroll and payments are heavily regulated. Licenses, AML practices, and jurisdictional differences can slow or limit scale. Zebec's proactive steps help, but approvals and ongoing compliance are non-trivial. Execution and competition. Rivals in streaming payments and payroll, e.g. Superfluid, Sablier, plus traditional processors will compete on integrations, UX, and compliance. Zebec's Web 2 acquisitions must translate into active retained on-chain usage. Adoption and token linkage. Strong product traction must connect clearly to token demand. Watch for transparent metrics around fee flows, staking participation, and any buyback burn activity funded by real revenues. Volatility. As coverage shows, ZBCN price can move sharply on speculation and catalysts. Position sizing, diversification, and a long-term thesis are essential for anyone considering exposure. Why pay attention now? Real customers, growing rails, from card spending to cross-border pilots, Zebec is pushing crypto beyond speculation into daily financial flows. Reported enterprise payroll volume and expanding user counts suggest non-trivial adoption. Compliance-first posture. Circle Alliance membership and embedded KYC/KYB AML reflect an institution-friendly stance, which is often the gating item for mainstream payroll and treasury integrations. Multi-chain and multi-product. With a presence across several chains and a stack that spans cards, payroll, DPIN POS, and treasury tools, Zebec is diversifying both rails and revenue sources, a healthier foundation than a single product bet. Bottom line, Zebec is attempting one of the hardest things in crypto, upgrading the way money moves in the real world. If they keep shipping, securing partners, and winning compliance, ZBCN sits at the center of that network's utility and governance. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button, subscribe to Generational Wealth, and drop your questions in the comments. Tell me which part of Zebec you want a tutorial on next: card setup, payroll streaming, or cross-border flows. And remember, secure your assets, use hardware wallets, split your seed exposure, and never leave tokens on exchanges longer than you need to. Not financial advice. Stay curious, stay safe, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Not financial advice. Stay curious, stay safe, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.